All right. We are live, and this is the Black Dimension. I am Kev, and with me tonight is Donnie and Roger as we continue our MCU Infinity 23 series here on the Black Dimension. You have been sucked into the Black Dimension for right now. So, so say hello, fellas, and we have quite the dilemma here, as we left off in the last episode, as to Donnie saying that the movie that we're going to do on this broadcast is better than number one. Okay, so introduce yourselves, fellas, and explain your positions.
So I'm Donnie. I'm the one that's always right when it comes to movies. You taking my advice to save you hours and dollars of headache. You just don't need. Just listen to my experience in the movie world, and you'll come out all right.
Okay, all
Well,
right.
this here is Roger, and what does Donnie really know? As we, if you watch past broadcasts and hear us guys chat, you'll start to see that Donnie don't know much as he think he know. He know a little
Yes,
something,
that is
something,
always
not
right.
what he think he know.
Donnie is always right. Always.
Okay, so all right, so here I got on the screen is the movies that we have previously reviewed, which is the timeline order of the MCU. Okay, at number four is Captain Marvel. It's number three, The Incredible Hulk. Number two is Captain America, the First Avenger, and the number one spot belongs to the one that started it all, Iron Man. Now, tonight's movie is Iron Man 2. Let's let's get this party started. All right. So, Iron Man 2 release date May 7th, 2010. All right. So, lots of important things happened in this film right here. We including a couple of actor changes. Maybe one very important actor change. Okay, okay, as you see at the beginning of the film, it was this big exposition. Explain, Donnie.
Well, you had Don Cheadle show up instead of in Rhodey's position instead of how you doing, Iron Man. That actor is what's dude's name? Terrence Howard.
Yeah.
So basically, instead of just kind of ignoring the fact, they say, "Hey, I'm here. It's happened. Let's move on," and they proceed with the rest of the movie. It's Don Cheadle Rhodey.
Okay, so the follow-up starts off basically is Tony Stark. It starts out right here, big old celebration. Everybody knows that Tony Stark is Iron Man, but he is presented with a very horrible problem at the beginning of the film. Is he his arc reactor unit in his chest is bleeding palladium in its system, and it's becoming very toxic, and it's killing him. What added on to that is the fact that something from his dad's past comes back to haunt Tony. Uh, basically, this scientist named Ivan Vanko that used to work with his father Howard Stark. Both of them worked on the arc. I think they worked on the arc reactor, but Anton Vanko, the guy that worked with Howard Stark, was into some real shady stuff. So he was exiled from the country and had a son named Ivan, which is played by actor Mickey Rourke. Now, me and Donnie was talking outside one time. The biggest problem I had with this villain right here is it was an amalgamation of two villains, and I didn't feel like they should have done that. Whiplash and Crimson Dynamo. Two very prominent enemies to Iron Man, and that to me, honestly, should have gotten a separate treatment. You know, I mean, but it's like when you're dealing with the MCU, you're dealing with so many characters per se, and you had to make some adjustments here and there. So, what did y'all think of this villain? I actually thought the villain was pretty good, despite the fact that I
I
had a
mean,
problem.
yeah, big fan of Crimson Dynamite. I just like his ruthlessness. Let's just be honest. I like this ruthlessness. He did what he was supposed to do as a villain. He came in, he shook things up, and he really made Tony think. He shook up dude's world.
Hmm. Yeah, he said a very significant quote in the film that was used in the trailer. If you could make God bleed, people would cease to believe in him. It's like they always go with the heavy stuff whenever they're trying to establish, the gravity of the situation. But he was the one that looked at Tony and said exactly what was wrong with him. Play him to the chest is a painful way to die. So yeah.
So it's funny because I actually watched a video on this not too long ago, but they were saying that because of this movie, because of the villain in this movie who said that actual line, which was, if you make God bleed, does he cease to be God? When the Avengers fought Thanos, Tony actually struck and did a blow to Thanos, and he ceased to be the mighty God they couldn't conquer.
Mm,
Right. Because he did bleed.
mm,
Right.
One drop,
I was
all
like,
that for one
whoa.
drop of blood.
mm. Great observation. Great.
I was like, whoa. So I not only is this the best movie in the Marvel franchise, I think it's the most pivotal at this point.
And now we know Donnie prays.
All
I'm
right.
just saying.
All right, guys. If you take a look at the screen, that was that actor replacement you was talking about earlier. Um,
Yeah.
what happened was, I think it was it. Did it more so have to do with Terrence Howard, the actor himself, or the fact that things transitioned from with the acquisition of Disney and Marvel Studios? No, wait a minute, that didn't happen until after the first Avenger. But I think it
So
had.
I've heard two stories on the situation.
Yeah.
Now,
The first
yeah,
one being
this
Terrence Howard got a little bit too big for his britches. The second one, the movie did so well that they increased the role to pay for Howard Stark's role, Robert Downey
no, no,
Jr.,
no, no,
which
no,
left
no.
nothing from the budget.
Man, what happened was they told Terrence Howard in the next movie they promised him anywhere between up to like $8 million. It was a certain increase he was gonna get. But then instead of him getting the increase that he thought he was gonna get, they increased Robert Downey Jr.'s money because a lot of people don't know it, but Robert Downey Jr. was because he was in a bad state right when he took on the Iron Man role as far as his public image. He did the first movie for only a $500,000. So what Terrence Howard thought he was gonna get, they pretty much gave that to Robert Downey Jr. So he was kind of pissed off at that, and he took a stand. And I can't blame the man for taking that stand. You got to get your money, man. And if anybody know about getting their money, man, it's Terrence Howard, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and
It's hard out there being a pimp.
yeah, it sure is. And because of that, Terrence Howard was replaced by Don Cheadle, and Don Cheadle has been playing Colonel James Rose, aka War Machine, ever since. And this was the first appearance of the War Machine in this film, and also another first appearance of very, very important character in the MCU, Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow. Very impactful entrance into the movie, I might add. Not that anything big happened or blockbuster happened. It's just the fact that she kicked Happy Hogan's ass in like 2 seconds. And people know, like, if you already knew the comic books, you already knew this was coming. You knew who she was. But that took you by surprise as soon as she did that to Happy. It was a very.
It took you by surprise when she scraped Happy. I
No, no,
saw
no,
it
no,
coming.
no.
I just didn't think it would be.
If you didn't know who she was, it would have taken you by
Nah.
surprise. Yes, but I knew who she was. Coming into the film, because
Well,
I,
speaking of the person who did know she was, it did take me by surprise because I had no clue
Oh,
who she was.
it got you, huh?
Yeah, and I thought her first film was a great introduction to this character because I walked away like, oh, she's something else. You know.
Oh, let me rewind this part. We talked about this too. Let's see. We talked about this too. How cool it was that he had a Iron Man suit and a briefcase, just ready for use.
That real talk, that is the coolest Iron Man suit, just because it was in that case.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was always one of my favorite things about Iron Man, the comic book and the cartoon. If you remember, I don't know if either of y'all either watched the cartoon, but he always had a different kind of mechanism where his costume would come, or his suit would come, or it would be a different type of suit, one that could go in the water, or one that would come out of his watch, or something crazy. And that was always a highlight for me when it came to that. And this movie gave it to me.
And if he didn't have
Bro,
it, and if he didn't have this suit, he probably would have surely died. So you know,
his suit was in a briefcase, man. His suit was in a briefcase, man. That
that,
was dope.
yeah, that was
As a
dope.
person that didn't watch, you know, when you don't know this stuff because you wasn't into the character growing up, that was one of the dopest things ever to see a suitcase turn into an Iron Man suit. That was dope
Uh,
as hell.
okay, man. So also, yeah, Tony. There are a lot of things about Tony Stark's character was touched on, especially when he was dying. One thing that they highlighted in the comic book that was didn't get so much shine in the movie, except for this one, was Tony Stark was an alcoholic in the comic book. So, as he was dying, he kind of got loose and started partying and stuff. I thought honestly, I thought the whole peeing in the suit was funny. And he was like, "Oh, it's so clean you can drink it. It's filtered out." Like I was like, "Ooh." But you know what? One of the best conflicts in the movie happened during the party scene, and that was when Rhodey, him and Rhodey, fought, and Rhodey took the suit, of course, to have it upgraded to become the War Machine.
Was it really an upgrade? I feel like it was more of a downgrade, but you know what?
More of an
I'm gonna let
upgrade,
that rock.
more of a downgrade. Now, I feel like you're saying that because of maybe Justin Hammer, who was, he was a tech genius himself, but subpar to Tony Stark and Ivan Vanko, the main bad guy. I mean,
Yeah, he was really third string, and he went and kind of like I feel like you wouldn't give a high quality machine to Pep Boys and have them fix it up for you. Like, yeah, I got this GT shelf. I'm gonna take the Pep Boys. Whoa, 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 whoa.
I got this brand new Ferrari. I'm going straight to Pep Boys.
hey, you know what? And then
Whoa,
what?
whoa, whoa, whoa.
But you know what, Donnie? You do have a point because it's like that scene where he tried to use the ex-wife on the newly upgraded Crimson Dynamo Whiplash, and it didn't work at
Oh yeah.
all. Yeah, that was a testament to Justin Hammer. Um, I hear
Okay,
though.
but
Go ahead.
hold on now. Hold on. Now, this was the Mach 2. That was the Mach 2. You know what I'm saying? All he did was flight tested it, make sure the repulsors were working right. So technically, it was upgraded. There was a lot of weaponry added. It was a cool suit to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying?
But
War
let me
Machine looked like
Ah,
he
let
ready to
me.
take stuff out. I got to give him some props.
But let me let me let me
Yeah, it was
let me see.
Justin Hammer's tech, but it still was cool.
But let me see. Let me see. Think. Let me say where I think Donnie was going though. Donnie was probably said if the upgrade had been done by Tony Stark, War Machine would have been superior to whatever Justin Hammer threw at it.
so I say this for the War Machine armor, right? The War Machine armor has a lot of technology in it, weapons, all kind of stuff that makes stuff go boom. Iron Man seems to be able to be on par with that man every single time, and has way less equipment and is able to move better. I'm just saying, there shouldn't be any reason that a quote unquote upgraded Iron Man suit uh, should be able to keep up with no rocket launcher, all these extra weapons, shotgun, ex-wife, yada yada yada. Shouldn't happen. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
No,
but okay. Let's keep in mind the suit Rhodey was wearing was the suit from Iron Man 1. Okay? It was just the Mach 2, the first one that he made right after leaving the cave. So it was a cool suit, but of course Tony's suit gonna be better because he's working on suits all the time. Of course the next suit gonna be better. I'm just saying, for the introduction of War Machine, it was a cool suit.
Yeah, I thought that the War Machine design in the movie was very, very close to the comic book. Yeah, I mean, and
It's cute.
it looked good, regardless of wherever the plot line's origin of War Machine was. I thought it did the thing, but to Donnie's point, it had to be built by Tony Stark first. So, so there. Also, I think that like as far as motivations, I think this villain is slightly better than even though Jeff Bridges' character, who ended up being Warmonger, even though he was very important, I think that Ivan Vanko did a little better. Just a little bit better because I mean he added personality and humor to the character. Where's my bird? I want my bird. And say and I'm telling just him your software is trash. Yeah, I mean which was trash. I mean, Justin Hammer, like played by Sam Rockwell, might have been one of those trust fund kids that had a little intelligence. But I mean, but even
Yeah, I
then,
think
during like the Monaco race, he was banging Tony Stark sloppy seconds. Yeah,
mm,
always a step behind Tony.
yeah, he's a frustrated kid in the class that wants to be in first place. He wants to be the teacher's pet, but he could never quite get there.
Okay. Yeah. What about you, Robert? What do you think of Justin Hammer, who could possibly be returning in the next few MCU films? From what I hear, I hear they are talking to Sam Rockwell, but the only way they could be bringing back Justin Hammer if he actually successfully creates Super Adaptoid. For those with Google, look up Super Adaptoid in Marvel Comics, and you'll see that's Justin Hammer's like crowning achievement. So that's the only logical way I can see Justin Hammer coming back.
Hammer's gonna be back, man. Tony Stark just died. There's a lot of room for Hammer to get in there because he's the United States government may need him. He'll be back. Trust me.
Okay. Now, for the moment of truth, Donnie, when we left the last broadcast, uh, you were saying that Iron Man 2 you thought was better than the first Iron Man.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Roger? You seem to have a problem with that. So have you changed your mind since then?
After watching it, I didn't say which was necessarily better. I just said I'm gonna hold off until this broadcast, if I remember correctly. But yes, I gotta say this one was definitely better than the first one.
Okay.
Of course, you had to say that.
Okay, so that pretty much, if you watched the beginning of this broadcast, we gave you the countdown already as to the films we already rated. Number 4 being Captain Marvel, number 3 being The Incredible Hulk, number 2 being Captain America: The First Avenger, and number 1 being the first Iron Man. Now, but if Iron Man 2 is better than the first Iron Man, then guess what? That has to logically mean and that Iron Man 2 has taken the number 1 spot.
You know what?
Makes sense.
Hooray for Iron Man 1. It held on through 4 movies. The 5th one knocked it off. But it held on through 4 movies. So hooray for Iron Man 1.
Okay. Yeah, and we kind of knew that these movies would not stay in the same spot for especially when we have I mean by my math 18 more films to go.
So you know what? It just occurred to me. Question for the fellas: do you
Was
think
this
that
something
we should?
you really should be asking, or should it be waiting to the next episode?
Nope. Do you think that we should include the extended Spider-Man universe.
No,
The
that's part of the same universe.
are you talking
So
about? Are
not
you
not Spider-Man. I'm talking about Venom. We'll have Morbius eventually.
Oh no, that don't count.
no?
That's not MCU.
We're like MCU 23 is the 23 films in the MCU continuity, but this does
Right, but
give
from
birth.
what I'm hearing is they are going to connect them.
Okay, yeah. Oh, okay.
That's it's a rumor right now, but it's not confirmed.
But but
Donnie is
but
always
like
right.
I was saying, it does give birth to the idea that we can do more black dimensions and more countdowns besides the MCU Infinity 23. But if such ever becomes the case, these things we can always make adjustment on these things. But as of right now, as it stands, Iron Man in our MCU Infinity 23, well, Iron Man in our MCU Infinity 23 has sank down to number two. There's a new number one, Iron Man 2, which means that the first Iron Man is number two, Captain America, the First Avenger is number three, Incredible Hulk is number four, and Captain Marvel is now number five. Now, next episode, we will be covering Thor, starring Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, and yes, it does introduce a couple of characters, important character
Save
introductions.
all Thor comments for the Thor movie commentary. Let's save all that for the next show.
Yes, but I wasn't gonna say too much, but this is the way we do things here. Leave them wanting more. I get, to Roger's point. So, so our
You know
next
what?
broadcast. Go ahead.
I want to make a declaration. As far as a standalone movie, Robert Downey Jr. will not be dethroned.
Maybe. I don't know about
I,
that one.
I think he'll be beaten by one of the joint venture movies, right? But I don't think
Mm,
As far as standalone,
superhero standalone superhero. Don't think
you
he'll
know
be.
what? We're gonna argue at that at some point. I already know my views on certain stuff. I
I'm
am
just
gonna
making a
rewatch the other.
declaration.
I'm
here's
gonna
Won't be beaten.
rewatch the other films as we do this. But I really think I'm gonna be fighting against that one.
you know what though. But you know what though. But you know what though. That's a tall thing to say, man, because you still got the Captain America films.
They was
like,
good,
Hey,
which
hey,
but
man.
were
it
Hey,
great.
wasn't a
hey.
pivotal movie.
Let's deal with all that in the future, y'all. Let's deal with all that in the future.
Hey, man,
It wasn't a pivotal movie.
but for the audience sake, we're just super excited about seeing how this whole thing is going to turn out. So just bear with us on our excitement levels. But okay, but anyway, any last words, fellas? Before we end this broadcast.
Nah, like, subscribe, hit the bell. You know you want to hear more of us.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Roger.
Uh, this is the greatest entertainment show on social media, so you definitely should subscribe right now while you have a chance. You never know. Something could happen to your fingers. Push the button now while you got a chance.
Absolutely. And okay, well that's it. Yes, I'm gonna say. Oh.
Nah, go ahead.
Okay, well, I guess not. Well, that was Donnie and Roger, and this is Kev.